So welcome everybody. My name is Lori, and today we're going to do a sequence that works on the different energy centers of the spine, the chakras. So we're going to try to be opening and stimulating these areas in the spine and to balance that. So let's start in, let's do a little easy pose. Start an easy pose, so legs crossed. Now if that hurts your knees, you could straighten your legs and do it, right? So just think about that. So nice and tall spine. Think shoulders, ears in line with the shoulders, shoulders over ribs, ribs over hips. And just start to feel the length of the spine, feel that connection with the base of the spine, sit bones, grounding into the earth. Feel that connection, make that connection first, and then kind of move up the spine. And then thinking about the pelvic girdle here, and then the ribs over that, shoulders over ribs, nice and long, all the way up, feeling that energy going out the crown of the head. The chin might be in a little bit, feel the lengthening of the back of the neck. So just start to notice your breath a little bit here. Notice where you feel your breath. Not trying to do any special breath right now, just noticing where we feel our breath. Do you feel it in your chest, your nose, throat, belly, back, sides of the body? Where do you feel your breath? Is there any rhythm to the breath? There's no right answer, wrong answer, just noticing what's there. Soften the facial muscles, shoulders down and back. Lift the heart. Nice even breath in and out. Start to try to build a little bit of a breath from the bottom to the top. Expand the belly, the ribs, the heart center. Try breathing in and out through your nose. Expand the belly, expand the ribs. Breathe into the heart center, breathe in through your nose. Mouth gently closed, relaxed. This nice, even, bigger breath you're taking. You want to try to take this to the poses we do today. If you can't take that breath, that's also another sign you need to back up. I can't breathe, back up, right? So let's bring the arms up, take a breath in, and go back to your natural breath. If breath starts to bother you, and I've talked about breath a lot, if it bothers you in some way, you just go back to your natural breathing. Just like you would coming out of a pose. Take a breath in, breath out. Palms up, arms moving out to the sides, overhead. Palms down. Exhale. Follow the flow of your breath. So important to connect the breath to these movements. That's what's going to calm us down, open us up. Calm our nervous system. Bring the arms overhead, take a breath in. And we'll just go to the right, exhale, to the side. Try to go directly side, lateral stretch. Now, if this bothers your shoulder, to have your arm next to your ear, you could bend the elbow, hand behind the head, or back to the hip. Give it a few breaths. Bring the arms overhead, take a breath in, and exhale to the left. Trying to line those shoulders up the best you can. That might mean you need to come up a little bit to do that. Knit the ribs in front so you don't get into a barrel chest. let that go. Bring the arms overhead. Take a breath in. We're going to twist to the right. Left hand on right knee, right hand behind. Starting from the belly, the ribs. Exhale when you twist. The chest, the shoulders, and then the head. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Notice where you might feel any tension in the body. That's where you want to send the breath. Soften there. And bring the arms overhead. Take a breath in. Then we'll go to the left. Exhale. Start from the bottom to the top. If it bothers your shoulder, your neck and shoulders, look over your shoulder. Just look to the side. Let that go. Bring the hands behind. Point the fingers behind and open the belly, the ribs, heart. Open the heart towards the sky. Take a couple of deep breaths here. In and out through the nose, belly to throat. You could pause at the top of the breath, maybe pause at the bottom of the breath. Just a pause. This is a good one for building a deep breath. So if you're trying to build a deeper breath, this is the pose to go to and practice. And let that go. And then just come forward and walk forward, round the shoulders, looking at your lap, tucking the chin here. Noticing where you feel any tension or resistance in the body. Sending the breath there. And let that go. I'll go ahead and bring the legs out and grab your strap. And we'll do a staff pose. So we're going to strap the balls of our feet and just lift up nice and high here. You got to flex your toes here, toes pointed towards the ceiling. And just right on top of those sit bones. You can almost feel more weightless here. When you use the strap, you can really lift up from the bottom to the top, right? From the base of the spine all the way to the crown of the head. Moving through those chakra centers there. Those energy centers. Nice deep breath. That go. Actually, go ahead and keep your straps on. If you want to, you can bend your knees a whole lot, and you can put your chest on your thighs, right? And snuggle your chest up next to your thighs. You're going to have to take your knees, pretty high to get your chest on your thighs, right? So the back is lengthened, right? So then you can start to just sort of take the heels out, and you can stop anywhere you want. We're still looking past the toes, lengthening the spine. Breathe into the tight place. You might find that place where the body says to stop, and that's where you breathe a little bit, and then if you want to go some more, then you start straightening a little bit more, lengthening a little more. You might have to lift up when you get straighter legs. Just listen to the body. Might feel different when you do it with the strap from when you don't do it with the strap, right? Might feel more the back of the legs when you straighten the legs. Let that go. And we're going to come up, and we're going to do a garland squat. So we're going to bring the blocks, we're going to take 2 blocks, and we're going to come up onto the blocks. And you can take the blocks whatever way feels good for your hips. So toes are pointed out a little bit, and the knees are over the ankles, and the palms pushing up against the legs here, opening up the hips, right? So lengthen the spine and hands at our heart center. And just stay here for a moment, breathe a couple of breaths. So go ahead and reach forward and exhale and round those shoulders. And then bring the hands back, push the thighs open, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, round the shoulders, reach forward. A little flow here, garland, squat flow. Now push the thighs open, lengthen the spine. Breathe in, exhale over. Round the shoulders here, reach forward. And then inhale, come back. And last one. You don't have to drop the head, man. You could keep the chest lifted, head above the heart, right? If that feels better. Last one. So we're going to come off the blocks here, and you might be doing the squat this way, where you're a little bit higher, and then we're going into a stretch, into a down dog, okay? And we exhale. Again, you could bring the head above the heart here if you didn't want to drop the head. And then we're going to walk it back into that squat. And you don't have to use your blocks now. So you might be in a high squat, you might be in a lower squat, just see how you feel. And then reach forward, and then exhale. And the toes are probably going to turn them straight now, facing forward. Whereas when you go back into your squat, you'll turn them out just a tiny bit. Just walk the hands back. So you're going to take your time on this, right? So we're going to try to incorporate our breathing. So inhale, and then reach forward, exhale into that downward facing dog. So let's think about downward facing dog for just a second. Hips are back, pushing back with the wrist and the forearms here. Pushing back away from the wrist and the forearms. Chin towards your chest, chest towards your thighs, heels towards the floor. And then go ahead and walk yourself back, turn out those toes a little bit, drop into your squat. Remember, it can be a higher squat, right? Or it can be a lower squat. One more time, walk forward, reach back, push that chest back towards the thighs, lengthen the spine. Let's do 5 breaths here, in and out through your nose, belly to throat. And a downward facing dog here, you can bend your knees, right? You need to. All right, let's come on, walk our way back, and I think we're going to come to standing here. Well, come bring your feet underneath you. We're going into a forward fold here. Forward fold. So feet are underneath your hips. You can bend your knees if you want to. Chin towards your chest. Crown of the head going towards the ground. Hips are high. All right, go ahead and bend your knees and come up with a flat back. So we're going to do chair pose. So maybe I'll show it from the side here. So we're going to bring the arms up, and we're going to do a little flow here. But first, we're going to get into chair. So you can bring I'm not really putting the butt back too far. The arms are up. You could bring the arms forward if you wanted to, if it bothers your shoulders, right? So we'll stay here for a few breaths. Knees over ankles, the weights in the heels of the feet. Butt is back, chest is lifted. Give it a few breaths. All right, so go ahead and round over. And then we'll straighten those legs into a forward fold. Exhale here. Now bend your knees, and we're going right back up into that chair. Give it a few breaths. All right, go ahead and round over, and then straighten those legs into a forward fold. Exhale. Bend your knees, and then come on back up again. Back to chair. Knit your ribs in the front so you don't get into a barrel chest. Butt is back, chest is lifted, shoulders are down. All right, one more time. Round over. Straighten the legs to a forward fold. Exhale. And then bend your knees and just come up with a nice flat back. Good standing position. so let's talk about mountain pose here for a second. Feet are underneath your hip bones. Chest is lifted, palms are up or facing your thighs. So we're gonna do a little bounce here. I'll turn this way just so it's easier for you to follow me. So lifting up through the legs, wrapping the thighs, palms forward or facing your thighs, shoulders down over your hips, right? So we're gonna we're gonna bring the arms to cactus arms. We're gonna come up onto our toes. So a little balance here. And then on the exhale, we're gonna twist to the left. So might have to do a little adjusting here. Keep the hips forward. Find your focal point. Heels down if you need to get the movement first, then come forward. Take a breath in, and we'll twist to the right. Try not to have the ankles splay out. Keep the ankles in line, ball and heel in line, right? And back to center. Let's go again. Go ahead and come onto your balls of your feet. Exhale to the left. Take your time on the twist. Feel nice, feel grounded into the feet. Grip the toes. Tighten the Kegel muscles. Feel the extension out the crown of the head. Come back to center. Let's go again. Up on the toes. And nice slow to the right. Activate the abs. And that's shake that out a little bit. All right, so we're going to go into a little sun salutation, try to flow through it a little bit today, a couple of times. So if you want to bring your blocks up front, you can. Might help you on some of it. All right, so palms forward are facing your thighs. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, arms overhead, so you can look at your thumb. If you wanted to, you could do a little baby back bend. Tighten the butt to protect the back. Exhale. Reach forward, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back to that plank position, hollow out the front of the body. So if you wanted to come down to your knees for plank, or go to your forearms for plank, you could. We'll hold it for just about 10 counts here. 1, looking past the mat, keeping the head in line with the spine. 2, grip your fingers, hands underneath your shoulders. 3, lift up through the armpits. 4, belly above the spine. Tighten the butt. Lift the pelvic floor. 6, breathe. I might have skipped 5. Breathe some more. 7, feel the connection from the crown of the head all the way down the base of the spine, all the way to the tips of the toes. 8, 9, hollow out the front of the body, no sinking in the spine. And 10, come up to the toes, drop to the knees, hug the body with the elbows, lower to the floor. So we're just going to lift up the upper body, take the hands off the ground, elbows close to the body, palms down next to your shoulders. Just lifting the upper back here for a moment. Modified cobra. All right, hands underneath your shoulders, push back, tuck toes, hips up and back, down dog. So give it a few breaths here. So for modifications for down dog, would be table or child pose. So whenever I do down dog, you want to go to table or child pose, do that. Do what's right for you today. Every day's different. Nice deep breath here, in and out through your nose, belly to throat. We're also externally rotating our shoulders, which just means pointing the elbows a little bit more towards the mat. And walk the feet underneath you. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come up with a flat back, inhale. And somewhere center. Let's go again, inhale. Baby back bend, exhale. Reach forward, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Coming back to that plank position. Hollow out the front of the body. I'm not going to hold it this time. Come up to the toes. Drop to the knees. Hug the body with the elbows. Lower to the floor. Coming up to cobra. We will hold this. Hands underneath your shoulders. If you don't like this pose, you can go back to what we did before. Hands up. Stay here for 3 to 5 breaths. Shoulders down away from your ears. Elbows hug the body. And push back. Remember, we can stop in table or child pose or downward facing dog. 5 breaths in and out through your nose, belly to throat. Walk your feet underneath you. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come up with a flat back inhale. Hands to heart center. One more time, let's go. Take a breath in, baby back bend, exhale. Reach forward, swan dive. Exhale, forward fold. Turning back to that plank position. Hollow out the front of the body, coming up to the toes, drop to the knees, hug the body with the elbows, lower the floor, coming up to cobra, push back, tuck toes, hips on the back, down dog. Give it a few breaths here. Remember, you can take the legs wider with downward facing dog. You can bend your knees. Main thing is we're lengthening that spine, chest towards the thighs, pushing back. All right, walk your feet underneath you. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come up with a flat back, inhale. Hands to heart center. All right, so let's face the right. Well, let's do it this way, actually. Let's turn our mat. I hate to tell you guys to do that. Seems like we have problems with change from my tape. Turn our mats, but turn your mats. I think it's easier to follow if you do it that way. All right, so we take a nice wide forward, a wide straddle here. Toes pointed forward, moving into a wide forward fold. So bend your knees a little bit and hinge from the hips and come over and place the hands in the center. You might want to widen your legs a little bit. So bend the elbows, and you could bend your knees too a little bit. Crown of the head going towards the ground, hips are high. And you could pigeon toe your toes a little also. Grip those toes, feel the inner outer edges of your feet. Activate your legs. Remember, you don't have to have straight legs. You can have bend. You can bend in the knees. Give it a few breaths here. And go ahead and walk the feet in a little bit if you need to. And bend the knees, hands back to the hips, and coming up with a flat back. All right, so bring the arms out. We're just going to turn that right leg out and bend that right knee. So back foot might be, the heel might turn in just a little bit so we can bring that hip down, keep the knee over the ankle, right? So we'll just do a straighten bend here. Warrior 2. So we're looking over our right hand, arms over legs, shoulders down. So the knee is tracking over first, second, third toe. Exhale when you bend. Inhale when you straighten. So we'll go ahead and stay here in Warrior 2 for about 6 breaths. So if you need to bring your arms down at any time, you don't want your shoulders to pinch or anything like that, so just keep the shoulders, in line with each other. And breathe, some nice deep breaths. Try not to lean over that leg. You're pulling your shoulders back over your hips, right? So push into the back edge of that back foot. That's going to help you to pull the body back. So nice hips and shoulders over hips, right? So elbow to knee, take our left hand to our hip, reach up to the sky and over towards the ear. So if this bothers your shoulder and neck, you could reach up, right? Your hand back to your hip. Do what's right for you. If you want to get a little bit more into the core, we could bring that arm off the leg and scoop the hand. Still keep that good, alignment of the shoulders. All right, come on up. Reach that arm up for reverse warrior, looking up at the palm. So you can keep it right here, looking straight up, reaching straight up. If you want to get more into a side stretch, you'll reach back and bend more into that knee. Knit your ribs in front here. Take weight out of the lower back. And come on back up through warrior two. Let's go back to side angle one more time. Give it a few breaths. If you want to go deeper, you could go deeper, right? You can try to go deeper if you want to. You can put a block on the inside or outside of that leg. And then come up, look up at the palm, right shoulder forward, left shoulder back, reverse warrior. You can stay right here. You don't have to go any deeper here. Just keep lengthening up or reach back and bend to the right leg for more of a side stretch on the right side. All right, coming back to warrior two. So straighten the leg, wiggle the hips a little bit. Send the left hip a little bit forward towards the mirror. Reach, 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 and then windmill to your triangle. So triangle, you don't want to come forward with the chest. You're going to open the chest, open the heart, line up the shoulders. Remember, you might need to come up here to line everything up, right? To pull that left side back. You could bend that knee if you wanted to. Activate the abs to come up, and then point the toe forward. We'll go back over into a forward bend. Go ahead and bend the knees and hinge from the hips. Come back into that wide forward fold. This time, let's add a little twist to it. We're going to open up to the right. Inhale. The twist comes from the belly up. Hips and everything stay right where they are. Bring that right hand back to center till inhale, open to the left. Belly, ribs, chest, shoulders, head. Back to center, exhale. Let's do it again. Open to the right. And back to center. And then open to the left. And back to center. Go ahead and walk the toes in a little bit. Bend the knees. Bring the hands back to the hips. Come up with a flat back. So bring the arms out to the side. We're going to turn that left leg out and bend the left knee, moving into warrior two on the left side. So arms over legs. We're trying to line the heels up the best we can, but you can take it a wider if you want to, just don't cross behind, right? So try to line those heels up as best you can. And we'll just go ahead and straighten and bend here. Get a little flow going. That back foot is turned in just a little bit. It's not totally 90 degrees. And follow your breath. Exhale on the bend. Inhale, straighten. Feel that edge of that back foot. Keep your shoulders over your hips. So you don't want to reach forward over the leg, right? You don't want to do that. You want to keep the shoulders over the hips. All right, so we'll stay here in warrior two for 6 breaths. In and out through your nose, belly to throat. Strong warriors. Elbow to knee or hand to thigh. Start with your right hand on your hip. Reach up towards the sky. You can keep it there or over next to your ear. If you turn your palm back to the back wall, you get more of a side stretch. Open the heart. Lengthen the spine. And come on up, looking up at the palm, reverse warrior. Left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. If you want to get more into a dancer warrior, you could scoop that arm, palm up, reach back. And one more time, side angle, nice and slow, moving through warrior two, and then elbow to knee. Nice slow flow. And come on up, reverse warrior. Again, if you want to go more into that side stretch, reach back, bend into that knee more. Still keep those shoulders aligned. Knit the ribs. And then back to warrior two. So go ahead and straighten the leg. Wiggle the hips a little bit. Send that right hip little bit to the right and front, reach, 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 and windmill to your triangle. So remember triangle, you can use your block on the inside or the outside. You can bend the knee if you want to. You can have that thigh, hand on thigh, so you can pull that right side back. If you feel like when I reach down here, this happens, that's not it. You gotta go up to the place where everything is aligned and stacked. Activate the abs to come up. And go ahead and turn the toe forward. And one more time, bend the knees, come over to a forward fold. We'll stay here, wide forward fold. And we'll go ahead and do that twist, opening to the left this time. Right hand comes to the center and open up to the left. Inhale. Exhale back to center. Over to the right, inhale. Remember, it's all from the waist up or from the belly up. That's what we're twisting, from the belly up. Inhale to the left. Exhale to center. And last one, inhale to the right. And back to center. Go ahead and walk those toes in a little bit. Bend the knees, bring the hands to the hips, and come up with a flat back inhale. And just toe heel yourself back. All right. So we're going to go to the ground. You guys want to do some standing balances before we go to the ground?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. All right. So let's do, we'll do tree pose. Lift the knee, lift the heel, and turn out the knee. You could stack the foot if you wanted to, right? Or you could put the foot below or above the knee. So the main thing is to find that focal point in front of you, about 4 to 6 feet in front of you. Don't drop the head, but you do drop your eye gaze. You could reach and grow your branches. Remember, there's a micro bend in that standing leg. So the most, if you can find that focal point and just attach yourself to that focal point. So really focus there. If you start to wobble, bring the foot back down, you know, reset, right? Reset here or stay here the whole time. Feel the energy moving from the floor, grounding with the feet all the way up the leg. Feel that tailbone all the way up the spine, out the crown of the head. Feel the energy going out the fingers, through the floor with the feet, out the crown of the head. Shake it out. Let's try the other side. Lift up the left heel, turn out the left knee. Again, stack that left heel on top of the right ankle. You can stay right there. If you want to, you can put the foot below or above the knee. And grow your branches if you want to. So think of the energy as not stopping. A lot of times we're balancing, you think, I gotta hold it all down, right? Don't hold it down. Think strong and light at the same time. Let the energy move through you. It doesn't stop. You don't lock it down. You let it move through you. Strong and light. Take that out. We can do one more. Let's do one more. Warrior 3. All right. So I'll show you a couple of ways to do Warrior 3. One way, you could just point the toe back. The hip is still in line. We're not really opening up the hip, but the hip is in line with the other hip. You could stay here. You could take it off the floor. You could go halfway. You could go perpendicular. Go Superman arms here. Toe pointed down, flex the foot, palms down, airplane, out to the sides. Find that focal point, don't let your mind move. All right, come on up, shake it out. And we'll try the other side. Bring arms overhead, point that toe behind, stay right there. There's your Warrior 3. If you want to go halfway, Want to go all the way. Point, flex the foot, point the toe down, keeping the hips in line. That go, shake it out, and we'll go to the floor. So just take a breath in, come on over, take a breath out, grab your elbows, do a little ragdoll stretch, and come on down to the ground. You don't have to turn this way, I'm just turning this way. I think it'd be easier for you to see what I'm doing. So we're gonna do a pigeon pose. So you're going to point your knee towards the right corner of the mat, and your right heel goes in towards your groin, and you're going to straighten the left leg behind you, right? Now, if that doesn't feel good, you can do pinwheel, right? Where you bend the back leg, so you're making like an L shape with your legs. Make sure you point that toe, and then you go on the inside of the right knee, right? So if you don't want to straighten the back leg, bend the back leg and move into pinwheel. Okay, so if you get into this position, you say, I don't know, it doesn't feel that great, you can always block your right hip. So block your right hip if you need to block. You can also tuck the toes behind you if that feels better. You can go over with that block. It's sometimes I feel awkward, but you can do it. But still go onto the inside of the right leg. We're trying to turn that left hip down towards the ground a little bit to advance into a little bit deeper part of the stretch. You can always use your hands to kind of press into your right hand to help turn that left hip down a little bit towards the ground. Notice where you feel the stretch and breathe into that space. Soften, talk to yourself, release, let go, surrender. And bring your hands back underneath your shoulders and coming up belly, ribs, chest, chin, and roll over onto that right hip. Let's do the other side. So we're going to bend the left knee towards the left corner of the mat. Again, if you know that straightening the leg just doesn't feel like that's going to work today, you can bend the back leg. You make an L shape with the legs, right? And you point this toe and then lay on the inside of the left knee. If you want to, you can straighten that right leg, and for a pigeon, you can block. If you know where you're going, just go there. If you can block that left hip if you wanted to. If you're having trouble keeping the hips even, if it feels better, block the left hip. So coming over on the inside of the left knee, trying to rotate that right hip down towards the ground a little bit. Keeping the left hip down on the ground though. Notice where you feel any tightness and breathe into that space, soften. And hands underneath your shoulders, coming up, belly, ribs, chest, chin, and roll back over under that left hip to come out. So you might use your blocks on this next one, and you might not, but we'll do a straddle stretch. So we're going to take the legs wide as you can, comfortably. Toes are pointed towards the ceiling, right? And if you wanted to, you could come forward to the point where you just feel, lengthen spine, and your hands could be center if you want, or on your legs. If you wanted to, you could put your head on a block and stay there and see how that feels. You can stack blocks higher than I have even. You can do 2 blocks. I don't know if you can do this. May be as high as you can stand. So toes pointed towards the ceiling. Make sure you flex your feet. And Breathe into the stretch. Remember, you also can bend your knees a little bit if you needed to bend your knees if it seems too intense, or bring your feet closer in or whatever. You can always bend the knees a little bit if it seems too much to the back of the legs. Notice the sensations, pulsations you might feel along the spine or in the legs or groin or anywhere, wherever you might feel any sensation, just noticing. If it doesn't feel right, back up. Right hands to the center, help yourself up. And go ahead and bend your right knee, bring it in, bring your left knee, bring it in. So I'll turn this way to do this. Do a seated twist. All right, so go ahead and cross the right leg over the left, and if you can't put your foot down, you might bring the foot to the inside of the knee, right? Because you want to be able to push into the foot. So on the outside of the knee or the inside of the knee. And we're going to round, the left arm is going to go around, wrap around the legs, and the right hand is going to go behind. And we're going to get real tall before we twist, right on top of the sit bones. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, starting from the belly, then the ribs, then the chest, shoulders, and then the head, if that feels okay. If it doesn't, you're going to look to the side with the head. Push into the floor with your right ball of your foot. That's going to give you some leverage for your twist. It'll help you with your twist. Breathe. Notice where, if you feel any pinpointed sensations, dull, achy sensations in the joint, that's a sign to back up. Pain, sign to back up. So back up to that place where you don't feel that anymore. Toes are flexed, left foot, toes are flexed, pointed towards the ceiling. If you want to advance it a little bit more, you could go into Lord of the Fishes, and you're going to take the elbow to the outside of the knee, and then think about press into the thigh with the arm, opening up the upper body maybe a little bit more. Breathe into those tight places. And let that go. And let's try the other side. So either on the inside of the knee or the outside of the knee. Wrap the right arm around, left hand behind. Flex the right foot. Get nice and tall. Take a breath in. On the exhale, starting at the belly, going to the left. Ribs, chest, shoulders, and then the head. Press into the ball of that left foot to activate the hips, right? That'll help the hip stretch part of this by pushing into the ball of that left foot. If you want to advance the upper body, you're going to go into Lord of the Fishes, and that's the elbow on the outside of the left knee, and then you'll be able to twist a little bit more with that upper body. Right arm is at like a right angle. Go. So let's go ahead and lay on our back for just a moment and get used to that new normal. Whenever we change positions, you have to give yourself a little bit of time. Softening, exhaling, letting your body release into the earth. Alright, so we're going to roll over onto our belly now and do a little bit of back work. So, just before we do that, let's get used to this position. So, crocodile, go ahead and bring your hands underneath your forehead, palms down, elbows bent. And we're pressing the hips. It's an active pose. We're pressing the hips into the floor. Navel is in and active. And
broad shoulders, broad back. So we're not slouching here.
Let that go. We're going to bring the hands to our thighs, palms down.
And we're going to be on our forehead. So push your hips into the floor, squeeze your butt, and lift your upper body.
So we're going to breathe here for a few breaths. Notice where you can breathe. Your belly. You can't really breathe the belly too well. So the chest, the back, side of the body. In and out through the nose. And go ahead and lay on your cheekbone and turn your palms up and round your shoulders towards the mat. And just relax and let go everywhere else. So by rounding those shoulders towards the mat, you'll feel a little bit of a decompression in the lower spine maybe. A little lengthening of the spine. But you got to round the shoulders towards the mat and palms up towards the ceiling to feel that. All right, go ahead and put the palms back down.
Facing down, back on our forehead. Push the hips to the floor, squeeze the butt,
Lift the upper body. This time we're going to press the big ball or clasp hands behind, whatever works for your shoulders, right? Feet are staying on the ground. We're going to open up to the right, inhale. And back to center exhale. Open to the left. And back to center. A couple more times. Follow the flow of your breath. Inhale when you look to the right. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the left. A couple more times, follow your breath. All right, we're going to let that go. Lay on the other cheekbone. Your palms are up. Round your shoulders towards the mat and just relax everywhere else. So look up for this next pose so you can find how to do your hands. So one way, this is half locust. So one way the palms are going to be down and underneath your thighs. And you're going to snuggle your elbows in and you'll be on your chin, right? That's one way. You might notice that that hurts your wrist. If it does, then turn the palms up, make a fist, and then put the palms underneath your thighs. So either way, palms up with a fist or palms down, spread fingers. So snuggle everything in, push the hips into the floor, squeeze the butt, and we'll lift up the right leg. So you really want to try to isolate here. So hips keep wanting to come up, you're going to keep pushing them down. Hips are in line. Top of the foot is facing the ground, not open up the hip. Tighten the butt, right where the thigh and the butt meet. Lengthen that leg. Point the toe, lengthen the leg. All right, let's change legs. Left leg comes up, hips push down. Feel like somebody's grabbing you by your ankle and lengthening that leg long. Top of the foot faces the floor. We're not opening up the hip here. There, let that go. Go ahead and take the arms out. And we'll lift up the upper body and the lower body. If it feels better to look down, we keep the head in line with the spine. Palms are out, facing out. Try to get the thigh off the floor. Lift the chest a little bit. And let that go. Hands underneath your chin. Go ahead and lift up the feet and windshield wiper. Say hello. Hey, anybody say hello? All right. So last one we're going to do here is bow pose. So we're going to show you a lot of different ways to do that. So one way is you put your feet over your knees, you flex your feet walking on the ceiling, push your hips into the floor and reach for your ankles. That's one way, right? So if you know where you're going, go there. If you want to grab your ankles, you can grab your ankles, but still try to keep them over the knees and flex the feet and lift the upper body. If you want to go into full bow, the thighs come off. And you can do half bow too. You can do one leg at a time if you wanted to, right? That felt better. to feel any pinpointed pain or anything like that. So come out of it if you feel anything like that. Feet towards the ceiling, shins towards the back wall. All right, let that go. Hands underneath your chin, windshield wiper. And let's push back. Child pose, knees wide. Big toes together, set your hips back toward your heels and say,
Ah, that's good. I heard one. And just relax here. All right. So let's come up onto our hands and knees, and we'll do a little cat-cow. Stretch this out a little bit. So hands underneath your shoulders and knees underneath your hips. And we're just going to tuck the toes, arch the back like a cat. Chin towards your chest, lift through the armpits. And we'll just stay here for a minute, or for a moment. Breathe into the back. And then we'll go to a neutral spine. The chest kind of moves through the shoulders here. Lengthening the back. Take a breath in. And then exhale. Tuck the toes. Arch the back like a cat. Chin towards your chest. And then release that. Lengthen the spine. Now you could go to cow, which cow is, you could look up a little bit. The hips tip up. The belly drops a little bit. Activate the abs. So let's just see how that feels for your back. That's cow. So then just go back and forth from cat to cow or cat to a neutral spine, following your breath. Inhale when you lengthen the spine. Exhale when you go into cat. Follow the flow of your breath. And last one. And I'm going to turn this way. We're going to do something for the hips here. So open cow, open face cow pose. I never remember how to say a lot of these names. But anyway, all right. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do that. We're going to take the right leg, and you can bring the outside of the foot and bring it to the outside of the thigh on the left side, and just let it be on the edge of the foot, trying to line up the knees the best we can. Now, if this is too much for your knees, you could bring your foot to the inside of the groin, right, and stretch over. So do what's good for you. So either on the inside of the groin and stretching over into a forward fold, or we're going to bring that right foot onto the outer edge of the foot and bring it to the outside of the thigh. So we can stay here, take a breath in, or come forward, take a breath out. So still lengthening the spine. See how it feels. Cow face pose. Half of a cow face pose, because really you could tuck that other foot in if you wanted to, but we didn't do it that way today. But if you're used to doing it that way, do what's right for you. Toes pointed towards the ceiling. That left toes are pointed towards the ceiling. Keep the hip and the knee and the ankle where it needs to be. All right, let that go. And we'll try the other side. So we're going to take that left leg and we're going to bring the foot to the outside of the right thigh, trying to line up the knees the best we can. And if that doesn't feel right, we're going to bring the left foot to the groin, into the groin, and then forward fold and stretch over that way. All right, so line, if you're doing it the other cow facing, you're going to line up the knees the best you can. I didn't say this last time, but lift yourself up, get on top of those sit bones again. We didn't do that, we should have. Take a breath in, and then if you want to, come over. If you feel like, I got it right here, sitting straight up, that's where I need to be, then that's where you stay, with a lengthened spine. Toes pointed towards the ceiling. Feel that line of energy from the base of the spine all the way up the crown of the head, lengthening the spine. Lifting the chest, shoulders down from your ears. And let that go. Okay, so let's go ahead and go onto our backs. We're going to grab your block. And then just get used to being on your back for a second. Have a block next to you. So we're going to bring the knees up. We're going to take this block, we're going to keep it on the low level and put it underneath our hips and lower back here. So don't look side to side here. Just keep looking up at the ceiling because it'll hurt your neck to be in a bridge type pose and looking right or left. So you don't want to do that. This is a modified bridge with a block. So block is underneath the hips. Palms are away from, arms are away from your thighs, palms up. And we're just letting gravity lengthen the spine here. Just trying to relax, let go as much as we can. If it doesn't feel good, come out of it. Straighten one leg and then the other leg. Just kind of get a little stretch of the hip flexors that way. Keep flexing that foot though. If you extend the leg, flex the toes. And go ahead and lift up the hips and take the block out. One more while we're down there. Let's open up the hips into a bound angle pose. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet towards our groin as much as we can. You could block underneath your thighs if that felt okay, if that made your lower back feel better. Or you can take the blocks out and just let gravity open up the hips. Now, if you want to not use blocks and it still bothers you, you can always bring the legs out from the groin. So it's kind of going away from the body, but keep the soles of the feet together. And then that'll press the lower back more into the ground. So feet are, press your feet, active feet, press your feet together here. And just relax though where you can to let the hips open up. Bring the knees together and just rock. Bring the knees up towards the chest and just rock a little bit. And we'll go ahead and straighten the legs. Actually, let's do one more thing before Savasana. So we're going to take the legs in a happy baby pose. So you can take the legs wide. You can grab the back of the legs, the calves, or you can grab the outside of the feet, but don't grab the inside because you want to keep the knee ankle alignment. So you're going to slide those knees to the outside of the ribs. Keep your tailbone down, so don't lift up the butt. And once you get in this position, if you want to rock nice and slow, you could. That feels okay. Just take it nice and slow. That way you can find those little pressure point places, like if your back is aching someplace, you can hang over that pressure point. You can hang over that spot the back is bothering you, and then you'll get a little bit of a pressure point massage. Let that go. So go
ahead and straighten the legs for our final pose, Savasana. So tuck the shoulders underneath you, palms are up about 45 degrees from your thighs, and let the legs open up wider than the hips, let the feet fall out to the sides. I don't know if I said that already. I might repeat myself. So just try to relax. If you feel like my back doesn't feel great in this pose, you can always bring your knees up, pigeon-toe your toes and let your knees fall together, and then the lower back will be pressing into the ground. So we're trying to go ahead and move around a little bit and wiggle and try to get yourself as straight as you can and get it all out, right? So we're going to try to be as still as we can here for just the next moments. And so try to get the back as aligned as you can, and then take a deep breath in and a big sigh to let it all out. That's it. Let it all out, and then just release the body into the earth. Let the earth cradle you. You can let go now. Starting at the top of the head, maybe notice the back of the head touching the ground. Noticing the temples, forehead, top of the head, any sensations or pulsations you might feel there. Relaxing the facial muscles, the jaw, eyelids, eyebrows. Softening the shoulders, elbows, wrists, and fingers. Noticing your right armpit, right waist, right hip. Relaxing your whole right leg. Noticing the top of the foot, the bottom of the foot, and the ankle. Noticing your right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Noticing your left armpit, left waist, left hip. Relaxing your whole left leg. Noticing the top of the foot, the bottom of the foot, and the ankle. Noticing your left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. If you're starting to think about the next thing you're going to do today, maybe breathe between the eyebrows, third eye. A little bit above between the eyebrows, breathe into that place. You can't clear the thoughts away, but you can give them less importance. Put them on the back burner for a little bit. Breathe into this moment. This moment. This moment. Start to bring a little movement back to your fingers and your toes. Any movement that feels good to you. Lengthen long, straighten long, and stretch the abdominal muscles. Bring your knees up and towards your chest, and go ahead and rock a little bit. When you're ready, rock over to the right or the left. Fetal position. Stay there for a couple of breaths before you come up. Take your time getting up. Stay down as long as you want to, and if you're up, bring your arms overhead, take a breath in, hands to heart center, take a breath out. Maybe be filled with loving kindness, maybe be safe from danger, inward and outward, maybe be well, body, mind, and spirit. Thank you guys for sharing your practice with me today. It's my honor.